Bronny James entering the NBA, putting himself to enter the NBA draft with the numbers that he has, that he produced at USC, combined with his questionable health for the moment, inevitably, what that means is that you're doing this because you're Bronny James. You're the son of LeBron James, and that's going to warrant consideration. What they have to understand is that in and of itself is going to invite the exact thing I don't want for him. And that's that extra layer of scrutiny. Because how much of a chance are people really going to give him in terms of judging him accurately? You know basketball, Perk. You played it. You're a champion. And you know how to dissect it in a way where you can look at his IQ, you can look at his athleticism, his defensive prowess, and you can say, hey, that's fine. They're going to look at the numbers, less than 5 points per game. He only scored in double digits 3 times in the 25 games he played, stuff like that. And they're going to look at him being LeBron James' son. And because of the attention that LeBron assisted in bringing to him, that makes it even that much more tougher. And I say that, I swear to you, I'm being sensitive to this. I don't want anybody to misconstrue what I'm trying to say. LeBron had the best of intentions with his son. And I'm not saying he did anything purposefully wrong in any way. I'm just saying because he is who he is. And he was on camera saying he wants to play in the NBA with his son. And he was on camera saying, and he's said on numerous occasions that he'd be willing to stay in the NBA and go somewhere else other than where he's at if it meant wearing the same uniform as his son. Those things are the kind of things that are going to elevate the scrutiny coming in Bronny James' way. And that's why I don't know, Perk, if the best thing for him might have been, you know what, get another season under your belt when you're fully healthy, fully recovered from all that you've endured, showcase those skill sets that the Kendrick Perkins of the world and others have talked about, and boom. But he could still do it, because just because you enter in the draft, he's also going to be in the transfer portal. It doesn't mean that he can't play basketball next season.
So, here's the thing. With LeBron James doing this, people were praising him before. LeBron James for taking, for letting Bronny live his life and make the decision, because LeBron originally said, hey, this is Bronny's decision, he's going to make it, yada, yada, yada. People were praising that. They were saying, oh, this is so great. Bronny is an adult. It's his decision. It's his decision. And now this happens. And we know this is nonsense. I don't know why we take these people at their word when we know they're just kind of saying whatever is lip service, right? Because you really think that LeBron James is in guiding his son. LeBron James, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, if not the greatest basketball of all time. He's not going to guide his son and tell him what he thinks he should do. You guys really believe that? I mean, of course, LeBron James is guiding Bronny every step of the way. And when your dad is LeBron James and you're trying to navigate the basketball world, you're gonna listen to what your dad has to say, okay? I mean, my God. So it was always comical that people tried to act like that he was just letting Bronny do his own thing. Bronny is not just entering the NBA draft because he's like, I'm gonna go do it. This is clearly his father's doing. I mean, he didn't do anything during his season in college. And now he's going to enter the draft? We wouldn't even be talking about Bronny if he was anyone else. If his name was Bronny Johnson, nobody would be talking about him. And entering the draft, it wouldn't even be news. But obviously, since he's attached to LeBron James, it's breaking news. And it's comical. And I actually feel bad for Bronny. So if you got to look at it from two different angles. A few different angles, honestly. LeBron James wanting to play with his son, awesome, amazing, absolutely beautiful. And if you have that power and that talent and that ability and that potential and that opportunity to be able to play with your son on a professional, in the NBA, that's amazing. Because not a lot of people will ever have that opportunity. So the fact that he can, that's amazing. And you should absolutely want to do that. So I totally see where LeBron James is coming from. But at the same time, is it what's best for your son? Are you jeopardizing your son's future and development and his own individual life for your own personal moment? Is LeBron James actually being too selfish? Because there's a lot of times, for those of you who are parents, right? You reach a point in your life where you realize, in your kid's life more than anything, where you realize you got to let them go a little bit, right? You love them. You want to be there for them. You want to, be the person for them every step of the way. But then eventually you realize what's healthiest for the child, for the kid, for your kid, is to let them go off on their own and make mistakes and build a life for them. Doesn't mean that you're not going to support them. Doesn't mean that you're not going to be there for them. Doesn't mean that you're not going to be a security blanket for them, a safety net if they fall. But you can't hold your kid's hand every step of the way, right? We know that. We know that doesn't end well. So is LeBron James, with some of these actions and decisions, setting up his son to not have the best NBA career, start to his NBA career? Because there is no way he should be in the NBA right now. There's just no way. No one would draft him, let alone let him play, if he was anyone else but Bronny. And I think a team would get him. Giannis's brother's out there, for God's sakes. So I think a team will get him. But at the same time, that team's not serious then about winning. Because LeBron James won't be serious about winning. I mean, let's be real here. Depending on what team drafts him, especially if it's like, some lower level team that's not doing anything, and you're going to get LeBron James over there, he's not focused on winning at that point. He's just there to be with his son, which I get. From a father perspective, I get it. I get where LeBron James is coming. But if you're that organization, why would you want that? Because now you're not serious about winning. Sure, you're going to sell some tickets. You're going to make some money. But you're not building a championship caliber team, especially if you're wasting one of your picks to get Bronny. One of your roster spots with Bronny. Not to mention, you're not going to get LeBron James full focus because he's going to be with his son. And when they're on the bus and on the planes and doing all this stuff, your number one player is going to be with his son. It's just going to be different. It's going to be weird. And if you're Bronny, I also feel bad for him because who wants to do that with his father? Let's say he was really good enough to truly be in the NBA and get to experience what it's like. He can't wait to do it. And yet your father's going to be there every step of the way, which means you're going to be coached differently. The players are going to talk to you differently. Getting into, any of the fun stuff that you do on the road. Getting into the trouble that you get into. And I don't even mean like real trouble, just, hanging out with the guys, late nights, whatever, early mornings. Like it's a lot of bonding that takes place in those moments. When you're hanging out at the hotel, when you're hanging out on the bus, the airport, wherever. You lose that if your father is 2 feet away. I mean, that just changes the experience completely. So I'm just not sure what I would love to know. We'll never know this. What does Bronny actually truly want? Because my guess is that LeBron James, being who he is, having such a dominating personality, building such a massive empire for himself and his family, it's probably been hard for Bronny to ever have a true identity to himself. which just is what happens when you have people who are just that successful. And in a way, it's a good problem to have, because I'd rather deal with those types of issues, those types of life dramas, than any of the stuff that I got to deal with. It's a good problem to have. Oh man, I'm going to be in the NBA, but my dad's going to be there. Or, oh, I can't find my own identity because my dad is worth $1 billion and is one of the greatest basketball players to ever play. Ugh, life's so hard. So it's like, I'm not going to shed too many tears for Bronny, but it is something to consider. And I understand nobody wants to criticize LeBron James for being a bad father. And I'm not saying he's being a bad father. But all fathers make mistakes. All parents make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. And it's okay to question and to discuss whether or not these are mistakes and whether or not LeBron James is handling this the correct way. Because before, he tried to say that, Bronny is better than some of the players on the court in the NBA. And the dude could barely even cut it in college. So, it's already getting messy before it's even began. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.